course, welcome to one of the most authentic news experience you'd have on the radio. Let's pounce on the front page of our dailies this morning. Of course, let's see what do we have this morning. We have the Punch, we have the Guardian, we have the Nigerian Tribune, we have the Nation newspaper, we have the Daily Trust newspaper, we have the Vanguard, as always. And of course, let's kickstart with what we have on the front page of the Punch this morning. On the Punch, it says Salah, Mokwa Bridge collapse, fuels tomato, pepper price surge. Mokwa Bridge collapse, fuels tomato, pepper price surge. I hope that you've already gotten your, you know, your pepper and whatever that you need to get. But of course, in Niger State, it is not a very good one. And of course, the governor of Niger State, Umaru Bago, was called for a low-key celebration of the Salah celebrations and you know offer condolences to the people that were affected by this flood. Still on the front page of the Punch, it says the VIP's lobby presidency as federal government grounds 60 private jets. VIP's lobby presidency as federal government grounds 60 private jets. It says custom seals off aircraft hangars in Lagos, Abuja airport over import duty default. Okay, that is all we have on the front page of the Punch. We have an advertorial talking about the minister of the FCT anticipating some projects to be commissioned in Abuja. Okay, moving on to the Guardian newspaper. The Guardian, it says mother, sons, others arraigned for allegedly assaulting vice principal in Ondo State. Mother, son, others arraigned for allegedly assaulting vice principal in Ondo State. On the front page of the Guardian, it says defection rumors swirl as Adeleke, similar life Ubara, meet Tinubu in Lagos. That's another interesting one to take a look at because, of course, we talked about how the governor of River State met with the president in Lagos yesterday, and of course, there was a picture of the governor of Osun State with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu too. And the Guardian this morning is saying that there is defection rumors as the two governors, meet the president in Lagos State. Okay, this one says Bill Gates deplores Nigeria's health budget as too poor. Okay, Bill Gates deplores Nigeria's health budget as too poor. I mean, it is a question of the little ones that we are budgeting for the sector. Is it being used? Is it being properly used? Have we seen any form of improvement in the yet-year billions of budgetary allocations to the health sector? That is the big question. Okay, Vision says Natasha courts summon Akpabio Nwaboyi for defamation. This one says that foreign aid withdrawal, donor fatigue eats 331 primary health care centers, over 400 staff, puts North in dire straits. Okay, that is what we have on the front page of the Guardian this morning. Okay, let's see what is going on in the nation. The nation newspaper says that Tinubu vows to rebuild and restore flood-hit Mokwa. Okay, this one says that why I visited President by Bakari. Why I visited President by Bakari. Let's not forget, I'm going to remind you, let's not forget that it is this same Pastor Bakari that dropped more than 3-4-5 minutes video criticizing the current administration. And now we have a picture of him visiting the president, shaking hands and smiling. Okay. PDP, our focus is unity of members and not coalition. There we go again. Still on the nation, it says South should rally around Akpabio, says Omokri. Ondo deepens upstream investment with $375 million deal. Okay, is that 375? Yes, that is correct. So yes, that is all we have on the Nation newspaper. It says the president vowing to rebuild and restore flood hit Mokwa, and of course, Pastor Toby Bakari, the one that was criticizing the current administration a couple of weeks ago, dropped a video, sat down, took his time to talk about the House of Senate. He talked about the appointment of the president, and he did a lot of criticism. Now he's visiting the president, smiling and shaking hands. Okay. I mean, he's a pastor. I don't know whether to call him a politician, but that's that about that. Let's move on. Vanguard newspaper says that Mokwa flood victims lament poor food and camp conditions. Mokwa flood victims lament poor food and camp conditions. Okay, this one says that. Okay, I think that is all we have on the front page of the Vanguard, too, surprisingly. Still the same advertorial talking about, you know, yes, and Wiki, the minister of the FCT, and the president about the project that are to be commissioned. That's what's taking the most page of the front page of the Vanguard this morning. Let's go to the Daily Trust. And on the Daily Trust this morning, it says 20-year Emery tussle. We accept verdict. Jokolo's lawyer. Mokwe flood. Niger State cancels Doba as 1,610 children affected. That is a lot of numbers. That is a lot of numbers. Okay, this one says that how hot money remittances drive Abuja's property boom. How hot money. I don't know what they mean by hot money. How hot money remittances drive Abuja's property boom. Okay, this one says that over 1.9 million pilgrims converge on Mount Arafat today. Okay, good luck to them. This one says Kano farmers resort to manure over high cost of fertilizer. We're trying to boost, food production in the country, and the farmers that are willing to ensure that, our food production is boosted are lamenting the high cost of fertilizer. Make it make sense. Are we hoping to achieve that? We're supposed to make life very easy for farmers. I'm telling you, it is the only way out. This one says that a massive security deployment in states FCT ahead of the Salah celebration. Blackout looms in Abuja, 3 states as electricity workers give strike notice. Okay, that is all we have on the Daily Trust newspaper this morning. So yes, let's see which one we have more. Okay, I think that is all we have. Let's see what is going on the Nigerian Tribune. Let's see what's going on in the Nigerian Tribune. On the Nigerian Tribune this morning, we have quite a couple of interesting ones. It says Amechi says that APC would not have won in 2015 if Professor Yakubu was INEC chairman. Rotimi Amechi. This one says that passengers. This one says that passengers lament trek long distances as gridlock on Ibadan to Lagos highway persists for hours. This one says flawed. Shatima visits Mokwa as federal government donates 2 billion naira and grains to residents. Anambra gubernatorial elections, political parties to commence campaigns from June 11, 2025, according to INEC. And this one says that Netflix increases subscription fee by 21% in Nigeria. Interesting. Netflix increases subscription fee by 21% in Nigeria. So of course, does it mean that we are not going to be Netflix and chilling anymore? Well, we're going to go on our commercial break right now. We come back for the second half of the program. We'll put out details of the stories that we have. We have an interesting editorial on the Punch newspaper this morning. Yes, and this one is very interesting because we've been talking about how every administration has vowed or is always vowing to fight corruption. And it takes you back to the question, is corruption truly being fought? We have an editorial on the Punch this morning, a very interesting one with plenty of figures So, I mean, don't try to be bored. These are facts from the past administration, past politicians, and what they have gotten away with. So, yes, we come back to talk about that and, what needs to be done. Yes, it's very important. So, yes, this is the Dailies Review on InfoGiant 97.1 FM. We are going to go and pay a bill right about now, and we are going to be right back. Stick around.
Hey you, are you looking for where to enjoy yourself and your loved ones? Are you looking for where to order or buy pizza? Real Pizza is the home of pizza, where you can get pizza, ice cream, barbecue, chicken and chips, sweets, and lots more. Oh yeah, now, no need to worry yourself anymore. Real Pizza have different types, different size with their price. Chicken pizza, small 5,300, medium 6,600, large 8,000 naira, extra large 11,000 naira. Sausage pizza, small 5,100, medium 6,400, large 7,900, extra large 10,000 naira. Special pizza, small 8,400, medium 9,200, large 10,500, extra large 13,500 naira. They also have bar, cinema, and lounge. Real Pizza is beside OUI at OUI filling station, Ipetumodo roundabout. They open 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Mondays and Saturdays, but they open 12 noon on Sundays. You can pre-order on their WhatsApp line 081-2034-3967, and they will also deliver to your doorstep. Real Pizza. Enjoy finger linking meal.
It is 21 minutes gone past 8 on InfoGiant 97.1 FM. And just in case you're just joining us, it is the Daily Review, where we get to skim through and talk about the interesting headlines on the front page of our national dailies this morning. And yes, if you want to listen to this program, you can join us. You can also watch us live. You want to see how beautiful our studios are. You want to join us on our Facebook page. Just go to your Facebook and search InfoGiant 97.1 FM. It's just going to be watching us live. And just in case you're trying to reach out to us on the studio line, you can also just drop your comment in the comment section of the Facebook. We're going to be able to read it out. If you find one of the headlines or two of the headlines interesting, and you want to contribute to of the program, you want to give your opinion and your perspective, and of course, if you want to listen to us on the go, you're living in Osun State, you want to recommend someone listening to us from Florida, from Texas, from Canada, from the United Kingdom, from Manchester, just ask the person to go to our website www.infogiantfm971.com www.infogiantfm971.com. And all you just need to do is click on the play button. You can also go to Radio Garden and search for InfoGiant 97.1 FM. You find the story right there. So, of course, yes, let's get right into the details of the interesting stories that we have this morning. Apparently, a story broke yesterday about a man who fell from the high-rising Cocoa House building in Ibadan. And the details of the story was not given as at the time of filing that particular report. But apparently we now have clarity on the situation, because now on the Nation newspaper we are getting another story, with the full details, and it's actually very sad that we talked about in Nigeria how we are always about the let's manage it. And this is a very sad one, because if you've been to the Cocoa House before, you would even not want to imagine. I mean, it's very sad. But let's take a look at the details of the story. It says a 22-year-old who fell from Cocoa House buried in Ibadan. It says a 22-year-old who fell from the 26-story Cocoa House building, Dugbe, Ibadan, on Monday is dead. Feranmi Akinye, a graduate of the Afe Babalola University at Doekiti, was undergoing training in cybersecurity at a company based on the eighth floor of the iconic building. Although some reports claimed Ferrami was taken to the University College Hospital, the nation has reliably gathered that the 22-year-old died immediately he suffered the fall. A source who is close to the deceased family, however, informed the nation this remains that his remains were received on Tuesday and immediately buried. The source described the deceased as lively and easygoing. The source also dismissed the speculation of suicide, noting that the parents are responsible with means of livelihood to take care of the family. It was gathered that although the father is based abroad, the boy, with his two other siblings, are under the care of their mother, who is well known and respected in the neighborhood. She was also described as a pillar of support to many individuals, aside from taking care of the family. The Nation reports panic spread across the vicinity of Cocoa Ibadan on Monday morning when a young man fell from the 24th floor museum section of the historic building. Initial speculation suggested a suicide attempt, but sources have ruled it out. Now, this is where it gets interesting. Let's listen to what actually happened. And this is where you get even more angry. It was gathered that the deceased resumed for work on Monday and went with some of his colleagues to the top floor to mount a banner on the wall of the building as part of a work-related assignment. During the process, it was learned that the frame he put his leg on was too weak to hold him up, making him to fall accidentally from the 24th floor at the instance. The sources said the fall resulted in multiple severe injuries. Despite efforts by the emergency responders to rush him to UCH, he was confirmed dead. The family has since taken custody of his remains. Now, he was immediately rushed to Adeoyo State Hospital, but he was already dead as his head and other parts had been smashed on the roof of the security post before landing on the floor. Now, another source who spoke on the condition of anonymity alleged that the young man was instructed to mount a large wall banner at the top of Cocoa House, a task typically reserved for professionals equipped with the proper tools and machinery. Now, this neighbor of theirs said, I blame the company for his death. He came from a good home. He was very humble and respectful. He had a car his parents gave him, but you will never know from the way he carried himself. They asked him to mount a giant banner meant for professionals, and because of his humility, he complied. The neighbor also claimed that following the incident, the company attempted to downplay the tragedy. You know, it is, how is someone who is a cybersecurity, you know, trainee being asked to go and mount a banner? You know, some of these things that we do to ourselves, it makes you ask questions. Do some people have feelings? Because like it was rightly said, because when the news broke yesterday, you know, there was rumors about a suicide attempt and all of that. You know, but someone that was closer to the situation now has not spoken to the Nation newspaper. Why do we do this to ourselves? How is cybersecurity, you know, related to going as high as the Cocoa House to mount a banner? And we know how it is. And this is just a cry out to, you know, people that we often talk about our leaders and how they make use of the position. The little position that you are holding, how are you making use of it? Because obviously, if it's there as an trainee in cybersecurity at a company, and the boss is saying that you are going to mount a banner at the top, the top floor of Cocoa House or the eighth floor, whatever floor, and you say no, we know we're in Nigeria. We know what is going to come out of it. You are saying no to your boss. Meanwhile, mounting a banner is not the same. Is not even related to cybersecurity. But of course, we can as well say that, you know, Nigeria has happened to this boy. I mean, these jobs are for professionals. Even professionals do not dare to climb that much without having their gear with them. Even the professionals with so much years of experience. It is a very sad word. May the soul of the young man, a promising young man, another promising young man, gone just like that. So yes, that's a clarification on that story because it's been flying around and lately, and people have been suggesting maybe suicide and all of that. But that's the clarification of that story. Okay, we have this one from the vice president finally visiting the people in Mokwa, not the president now. The vice president was the one that visited the people in Mokwa. Yesterday, I talked about how there is a need to see this as an opportunity to show sympathy and empathy. But of course, the vice president visited the flood ravaged Mokwa and has announced a 2 billion naira aid. I says the Vice President Kashim Shatima today, okay, that was yesterday, assured the people of Mokwa that the federal government stands with them after the devastating flood. He promised immediate federal intervention and a renewed commitment to disaster management. Representing Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Vice President visited the community and announced a 2 billion naira donation along with 20 trucks of grains. He expressed deep sorrow over the tragedy, stating that Mokwa has always stood as a vital crossroad and says that this makes your pain a shared national burden. Shetima conveyed President Tinubu's direct commitment to action and relief, emphasizing that their hearts are aching for the lives lost and the homes destroyed and the livelihoods disrupted. The Niger State Deputy Governor Yakubu Garba thanked the federal government for its swift support, noting NEMA's rapid response. He added that the Vice President's visit reassured the community of President Bola Tinubu's commitment. Federal government delegation members included the Information Minister, that's Mohamed Idris, the Minister of State for Agriculture, Senator Aliu Sabi Abdullahi, and that is that about that. Okay, and we have something about Rotimi Amechi and Yeson Wike. And of course, if you want to join on the conversation, now is the time. 0812 672 8417. 0812 672 8417 is the studio line to call. 0812 672 8417. So yes, we have something going on with Rotimi Amechi and Yeson Wike, and he's dropped a bomb about Yeson Wike, and some people who are interested in the politics of these two juggernauts are going to want to listen to this. This one says that I don't respond I don't respond to children. You are my employee. He says the ex-governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, yesterday took a swipe at the minister of the FCT, Yeson Wike, implying that they are not on the same level and that he will not exchange words with children. Despite holding back consistently from talking politics or mentioning Wike under pressure during an interview on Arise Television, Amechi stated that as someone who hired Wike as the chief of staff, he could not trade insults with him in public. Earlier, launching a scathing attack on his longtime rival and predecessor, Wike had dismissed Amechi's widely circulated remark. He said that we are all hungry. He made the statement during the 60th birthday celebration last week, claiming that the former Rivers governor is not hungry for food, but for political relevance. But Amechi also disputed Wike's imputation that he was instrumental to Amechi's becoming governor, stressing that God, former governor Peter Odili, judiciary, and River State people were responsible for his elections. He urged journalists to press Wike on how he contributed to him becoming governor, even though he refused to mention the FCT minister's name throughout the conversation. Amechi also stated that he made Wike his chief of staff so as to be able to supervise him closely, despite pressure to make him a commissioner of finance, noting that it's Wike that never acknowledged that anyone helped him. So yes, that is the one coming from Wike and Amechi. Says that I don't respond to children. You are my employee. Well, I feel like, this there's something interesting about politics. You know, the way you give it to someone, someone is also going to give it to you, whether the younger generation or the older generation. Because we can remember that yes, Wike keeps talking about how Fubara is his boy and how he's not willing to. It's not. There's never going to be a chance where it goes band for band with um, um, a similar like Fubara. And now a former governor of the same state, Rotimi Amici, is coming out to say that look, I don't respond to children. You were my chief of staff. I employed you, so I'm not going to reply to any of these things that you keep putting out. So we can understand this cycle now. If Wike is a godfather to somebody, somebody is a godfather to Wike because he was once employed. But that's the way it goes in politics. So yes, that is it about that. 0812-672-8417 is the studio line to call. So of course, there is talks. There's been rumors and is made the politics page of the Guardian this morning, and it is about defection rumors moving around as Governor Demola Adeleke, Governor Sinilai Fubara meet President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in Lagos. He says speculations over potential defection from the opposition PDP to the ruling APC has deepened after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu met with PDP governors at Demola Adeleke of Osun State and Similai Fubara of River State at his private residence in Ikoyi, Lagos, on Tuesday. Governor Adeleke, who was accompanied by his brother and business mogul Dr. Deji Adeleke, and his nephew, popular Afrobeat singer David Adeleke, also known as Davido, reportedly discussed a wide range of political matters with the president, including the 2026 governorship election in Osun and the 2027 general election. Adeleke's visit, coupled with a recent meeting with APC founding member and former Osun governor Chief Bisi Akande, has raised suspicions within PDP ranks that the governor may be considering switching allegiance to the APC. The optics of the meeting coming at a time when the federal government withheld local government allocation to Osun for February, March, and April 2025 has further fueled rumors of a strategic political alignment. Governor Adeleke, who defeated former Governor Adegboyega Oyetola into the 2022 Osun gubernatorial election, successfully ended the APC's 12-year rule in the state. In the 2023 general elections, Adeleke also delivered the state to PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and helped the party win all the 3 senatorial seats, the majority House of Representatives seat, and a firm grip on the state assembly. So, of course, the recent meetings with APC bigwigs by the governor of Osun State is starting to, gain rumors and starting to gain talks. People are starting to talk. What is your view? Do you feel like this is just some sort of visits, or do you feel like there is something to these visits? Because, of course, like it's been said in the news, the governor, met with APC founding member and former Osun State Governor Chief Bisi Akande. The governor has also now met with the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And part of the discussions with what we have on the Guardian newspaper, they discussed about the 2026 gubernatorial election. Do you think that the president would want Governor Demola Adeleke, who is a PDP member, to retain the state, knowing fully well that ahead of 2027 there is the need to capture each state, which has been the mandate of the APC? If you see what's going on in in Edo State, in Ondo State, and what the APC national chairman has said that their plan is for your state and Osun State, do you think that the president might want PDP to retain Osun State in 2026 in the gubernatorial election? And talking about the 2027 general elections, let's not forget that Governor Adeleke ensured that in the last general elections, 2023, He ensured that PDP won that state. Part of the discussions was the 2027 general election. Do you think that the president would want the same thing that happened in 2023 to happen in 2027? Knowing fully well that the president is not gathering, his army in the southwest, in the southeast, in the south, making sure that everyone is on point with the APC. What do you think? Do you think there's nothing to, you know, see to that, or do you think that there might be like a smoke coming out of that? 0812-672-8417. You can also go to our Facebook page to drop your comment on our Facebook Live, and I'm going to read it out. What do you think about these current meetings of the governor with the president and big names in the All Progressive Congress? Do you think that PDP should be worried? The state PDP should be worried, or you think that the governor is just trying to be nice? 0812-672-8417 is the studio line to call. All right, let's move to the interesting editorials that we have this morning on the Punch, and I want us to pay particular attention to the figures and the timeline of how far Nigeria has come. Because we've always talked about the lavish lifestyle, and the fact that the average Nigerian man and woman just wants to survive every day. They are not concerned with national cake or how the financial resources are being utilized. The average man, the poor man, just wants to survive the daily, going through the complexities of being Nigerian. So yes, we have an editorial, and this is something that I feel like everybody should pay attention to. Now, this editorial says that how far can Tinubu's efforts go? It says there will be no safe haven for corruption in Nigeria. Our government will take deliberate steps to strengthen anti-corruption institutions, enforce accountability, and ensure that justice is served, no matter whose ox is God. Those were President Bola Tinubu's salient words at a summit organized by the Ministry of Justice in Abuja on May 28, where he pledged to recover Nigeria's stolen assets. Now, he must watch his words, he must match his words with decisive action. While removing the petrol subsidy and floating the naira as he assumed office on May 29, 2023, did not earn him widespread space. Curbing the orgy of corruption and restoring sanity to governance certainly will. But how far is Tinubu willing to go? Will he be content with merely recovering looted funds, or will he also ensure that the looters are brought to justice? Is this campaign targeted only at his perceived enemies, or will it truly be impartial, sparing no one? Tinubu must answer these pressing questions. Among Nigeria's political elite, the plundering of public assets has become an odious tradition, leaving the country currently ranked among the 6 most corrupt globally, according to Transparency International Corruption Perception Index. Since 1999, individuals who have never worked outside government circles acquired luxury vehicles, overseas mansions, and million-dollar bank accounts. Let's see what. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning, Mr. Alex.
Yeah.
Mm.
When this MOPA happening,
Mm.
it reminds me of the good efforts of the past the past governor of Osun State.
Mm.
Not the past. One of the Alegbeshola.
Okay.
What he did in Osun State.
Okay.
The construction of drainages. In fact, that was what saved. If I don't know of any other place in Ife, people that used to be, flooded like river. That's in fact.
Oh, we lost Mr. Alex right there. 0812-672-8417. He was trying to, explain what, how important drainages are in line with what is happening in Mokwa right now. We'll try to call back 0812 672 8417. Now let's go back to this editorial, and it's very interesting to see. Let's put it the digits out. It says the late Alamisia, the Bayelsa governor, from 1999 to 2005, had 3.2 million pounds in cash and 4 London houses worth 10 million pounds seized after his arrest by the United Kingdom police in 2005. The United States government also seized $17.7 million in assets. In 2007, Alamesea pleaded guilty to siphoning Bayelsa's fund. He was jailed but later pardoned. James Ibori, his Delta State counterpart, also acquired properties in the United Kingdom and bought a private jet. A British court imprisoned him in 2012 after he pleaded guilty to stealing $250 million. The military set the tone for corruption. One retired general was credited with legalized corruption, while another, now deceased, stashed away so much wealth that his spouse publicly boasted of their limitless riches. Tragically, elected civilians have sought to outdo the military in this regard. No president has demonstrated sufficient will to combat corruption. Now, under Goodluck Jonathan, the then CBN governor Sanusi Lamido, who is now the emir of Kano, was removed after alleging that NNPC failed to remit $20 billion to the treasury. Sambo Dasuki, the national security advisor at the time, was accused of diverting $2.1 billion meant for arms procurement to fight Boko Haram. For political expediency, former President Muhammadu Buhari, who had touted and constantly said that he's going to fight corruption, pardoned Joshua Dariye and Jolie Nyame, the ex-governors of Plateau State and Taraba State, who were jailed for stealing a combined 2.76 billion naira from their states. Buhari claimed that another ex-governor who stole 50 billion naira had repented. Corruption runs deep in Nigeria. A former Attorney General of the Federation, an Accountant General, a former NNPC boss, and even a man tasked with cleaning up the pension mess have all been caught in the fraud net. At least 13 former governors and some former ministers are facing EFCC investigations for looting a combined 853.8 billion naira. The anti-graft agency is currently investigating 81.6 billion naira that was allegedly looted in the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty alleviation. The suspended Humanitarian Affairs Minister, Betta Edu, has not been prosecuted over fraud allegations for which she was removed in 2023. Now, finishing this editorial, it says, in 2003, the police topped the list of corrupt public institutions in Nigeria, with the National and State Assemblies placing third. Let's see what. Hello, good morning.
Hello, Yinka, good morning.
Yeah, hello, good morning.
How was your night?
Fine, thank you very much for asking.
Yes, Comrade DJ.
Oh, good morning.
This list you are trying to talk is endless.
Endless, yes.
It's endless, honestly. Because when I look at corruption in Nigeria, I don't know, it's a cankerworm that has eaten deep into the fabrics. I don't know any of these politicians that will have both the moral and spiritual stamina to tackle corruption in Nigeria, unless we have new breeds that can come up and do what is happening in Burkina Faso. It's painful. Nobody. If you continue to name this, you see, this time around, the present government is not blaming the past government. It's the same APC, Buhari. They are not blaming. They used 4 or 5 years to blame Jonathan and his government. This time around, they are not blaming. It's the same APC. But just look at what Buhari did during his own time. Let me talk about environmental pollution, Jerry. You see, today is World Environmental Pollution Day.
World Environment Day.
I think one of the areas that abuse environment, one of the countries that abuse the environment is Nigeria. We abuse it so much. Both air pollution, just name it, all the pollutions, whatever. Look at, do you know that cooking mama with plastic or nylon bag is part of the environmental wahala? Look at people who come when you are passing through Mayfair after rainfall. You see what goes on there. The whole place will be blocked. So as it's raining, some people will come out and pour things inside the gutter. They will not even think, what is the end point of this thing they're putting? So when we talk of environmental pollution, is too much. Even what happened at Mokwa is preventable. Honestly, it's preventable. So flooding in Nigeria, most of it is caused through abuse of our environment. Somebody will go and build a house where there are supposed to be road, and nothing will happen. They will approve it. It's because there is no justice in Nigeria. So let us talk about so many other things that matter. Like Rotimi Amechi spoke maturely as a mature person, because in home upbringing matters a lot. So that's a little thing one can do. Let me say one thing different from what we are discussing. Do you know that, Yinka? You can plant maize, you can grow maize 3 times a year in this country, in most states of this country. But we still beg for America to give us maize or amnes or whatever, which is very, very young. I have planted maize here 3 times, and it grew very well. But we don't care. When you see somebody coming from the farm, you say he's suffering. Is a poor man. So, my brother, I don't know where this country is heading to. Bye.
Thank you very much, Comrade DBA. That was a very extensive one. Of course, I mean, nowadays, when we should be seeing farmers as saviors, we are seeing them as, he's not working in the office where we have AC, he's not putting on a tie, he's not putting on a suit. And at the end of the day, we go out to complain about how there is, the food stuff are costly, this is that and that is that. And I feel it's one of those things, coupled with insecurity in the country. People want to be sure that, if I go to my farm, what is the assurance that I'm going to get back to my house safely? 0812-672-8417. Like I said, floods are very preventable. When there's a drainage, there is no reason for anybody. There is no reason for anybody to go ahead and dump trash. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Fatoye.
Yeah. The boy that fell from the cocoa house.
Yes.
God forgive me. He killed himself. Because we should. That is what we are. Part of what we are seeing yesterday. You see, over loyalty, and you don't want to maybe. And some people have an attitude when you are working somewhere. You see that place as heaven and earth. So you don't want to, even they ask you to go and kill your father, you just go straight ahead and do whatever they ask you to do. If I'm being employed as a cyber security and you are asking me to go and mount a banner, I will ask you if it is related to the reason why you. And some people will say, where do you see job in Nigeria? If I don't see job, I come back now. I'm in my turn now. I'm going, at least I'm doing one of 2 things, farming of a thing. You can't pursue me there if you pursue me from your office. So let this be a signal to many of us that if you are working in a place and you have to do job that is not concerning you, that can even cut off your life, and you go ahead and you lost your life, and that company will exist. They will not because of that you cancel the company. Something similar of a thing happened to us in Bayelsa. They call that place Sangama. Here a ship was brought, and the white man was insist that ship cannot stay a certain. I don't want to mention that name, the name of the company. So the white man just give the notice that this is what is discovered. At the end of the day, our Nigeria, the man that get that contract, insists that we must work on that thing. Most of us have to evacuate from that ship. Mind you, the following day, that ship sunk inside Sangama. This is what I'm saying. The reality is in Nigeria. The ship sank inside Sangama. They call that place Sangama after Okuruma. So that is really, if not because of help of all those divers, people have to jump in to enter the gunboat, all these army gunboats, because we are with almost 33 of them, gunboats with us that escape us. So if not that white man, many of them just, even in the radio, will not carry it. They have to ban us, they have to ask us that we should not give any report with nobody to mention this what I'm saying outside. And is the company that I work and this what I'm saying is live and direct. So if you are asked to go and do work that is not concerned you, tell that person, and you are not employing me for this. I can't do what you are not employing me for. That is that. Concerning the Wiki and Amici.
Yes.
Amici can say whatever he like. Amici may say he employ Wiki, but if you are familiar with that, they are coming up. Sometimes, there is some boy is more than their organs.
Okay.
Wiki knows, Amici knows. When Amici was in the governor, I don't want to say some kind thing. Wiki made Amici. That is just the truth. Unless somebody who just wanted to praise, maybe you wanted to say something that you are not familiar with. Wiki made Amici. You may be boss, but sometimes there are some people in your office there. If they are not around, that your office may not go well.
So we have to go. Our time is fast spent. Mr. Thank you very much, Mr. Fatoyi, just taking us through some very important, practical stories in line with what happened, the unfortunate incident in Ibadan. And of course, someone always tells me it is better for you to be unemployed than for you to be in a toxic working environment. You would not like it. And as a matter of fact, a job and a work should not feel like a job and a work if you're enjoying what you're doing. So if you're in a toxic working environment and you're not enjoying what you're doing, it's better for you to be unemployed, because every day you wake up, you'll be like, who knows what to expect today? Let's pick this last one before we sign out this morning. Hello, good morning. Hello? Hello, good morning. I think we lost that. So yes, that is how far we can take this morning on the Dailies Review on Info Giant 97.1 FM. It's been an amazing time this morning. But of course, we are going to be back tomorrow for the open mic session, where we get to talk about anything for as much as we can, without talking about the stories that has happened this week, or talking about something that you saw or you want to call our attention to. Tomorrow is the day to do that. My name is Olayinka Popoola, and we are going to be back tomorrow. It's been an amazing time, a very special appreciation to every of our callers who's taken out of their precious time to listen to this program this morning. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Stay healthy, stay hydrated, and be a good Nigerian. Good morning.